So now we're going to do one of the more difficult parts of MongoDB, which is to configure sharding and replication. Now this is going to take a while, so this may be a really long video, or I have not yet decided if I'm going to split this up into multiple parts. You'll just see. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have to create all of the virtual machines that I need to run my cluster. So this involves creating 9 total virtual machines. 9 total virtual machines. Now, why is it 9 total virtual machines? Now, if you are watching this for the CSI 112 class, you are required to actually create a sharded and replicated MongoDB cluster with the following configuration. So you can see here in this diagram that you have a Mongo server. So this is responsible for routing. And then you have a config server, a shard server 1, shard server 2, and shard server 3. The point of sharding is to split a data set into multiple components. So for example, if I have 10,000 students in a database, 3,000 of them can be in shard 1, 3,000 of them can be in shard 2, and 4,000 of them can be in shard 3. So the shards store the actual data. The config server stores the metadata. So for example, if I want to know where to direct the query to, what shard to direct the query to, the config server would know where that query will be sent to. That's why Mongoose needs to have access to the config server. Mongoose takes care of routing your query. So the Mongoose server here will look at the config server, will check where your data is located, and then it will direct your query to the shard that it needs to connect to so that you get that data. So now let me show you how you can create all of these servers. Now, to make it easier for myself, I do have a script that I prepared to create all of the servers for me. But in your case, you may have to do it manually. So this is just a bunch of CLI commands that are used to create all of these different servers. So you'll actually see 9 servers be provisioned on the command line and on the portal. So this should take a few seconds to actually provision because it's creating several servers in the backend. So let's just wait for the servers to be provisioned. You can see the first server has been provisioned. This is the config server replica set. And then we'll actually see all of the other servers provisioned in the next couple of seconds. So don't worry, I'll fast forward this particular portion. So as you can see, the servers have provisioned already. And let me just map this to what I talked about earlier. So you can see I have 2 config server replica sets, that's CSRS, 1 Mongo server, and 3 shards, each shard with its own replica. That matches what you see here. Okay, so you can see that I have 3 shards, 1 replica per shard, and of course a config server replica set and a Mongoose server. Now if you also see here, I set it up for high availability so that each replica set is in a different availability zone or a different cluster of data centers on Google Cloud. This means that if one of the clusters of data centers in Google Cloud or one of the zones in Google Cloud goes down, then the replica server set B should still be up to handle your traffic. And of course, if the zone B goes down, then zone A will also be there to handle your traffic. And that is really the point of server replicas. Now let's configure the different nodes. And this will take a while, so bear with me, and it will be a little bit repetitive. In real life, you would probably automate the process, but I'm going to show you the process step by step, just so that you understand how it is built and so that you can implement it yourself.